Hello, welcome to our channel. We got to make sure the camera's running. Oftentimes we start this and then it dies. Anyway, welcome to our channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. There are food shortages appearing worldwide because of massive drought across the world. The weather modification by the U.S. Air Force, Russia's Air Force, and the Chinese Air Force have literally flattened the rain cycle. They've changed the whole weather pattern. So hang on, folks. It's going to be real fun. By the way, if you start an IRA, a gold IRA with gold and silver, you can be sure of two things. Number one, it's safe. Number two, you'll get a gold coin. Maybe ask them see if you can get a freedom. See if you can get a beautiful. There's an American beautiful 5-ounce silver coin. That I think is my favorite coin of all of them. Anyway, maybe it's 3 ounces. I can't start an IRA, or I would. Store the money in their vault. It's inexpensive if you start an IRA with them. And let them help pry your money out of a non-responding stock market. Wonder why your stocks aren't doing real well? Well, a lot of them are invested in mortgage-backed securities and commercial-backed securities, which are now completely worthless. The same problem in 2007 came about this year. The thing that caused the crash in 2007, 2008 is now happening today, except the reason they allowed it to continue is because what was illegal, they made legal. The only asset you hold and you own without anything attached to it is gold and silver. You own it. Nobody owns it. They can't seize it from you. Everybody knows the United States is a corporation. They can't seize your gold and silver. It's illegal. It's illegal for one corporation to seize the assets of another corporation. And according to federal law, you as an individual are a corporation. So the United States corporation cannot legally steal. Now, does that mean they can't come to my house and put a gun to my head and demand all my gold and silver? Good luck. I don't have any on site. But anyway, so I invest in gold and silver with Noble Gold at 877-646-5347. I personally invest. Now, over the next year, all of our earnings are going to help people with really bad teeth. So there won't be any gold and silver investing for the next 12 months. But after that, boy, here comes the gold and silver investing like crazy. But maybe we might slip in an investment or two in the next year. Anyway, I love buying gold and silver. It's fun. It's fun to count your coins and shake them like some cartoon character. Anyway, boy. The United States bond sales are flat. Nobody's buying U.S. bonds. And they've invested massively in cryptos. They've created cryptos to buy U.S. bonds. Massive amounts of cryptos were created to buy U.S. bonds. That's all. The CIA created the cryptos so they could buy U.S. bonds. Sure, there's people trading with them. They say you can only have so many of these coins and so many of that coins. They lie. They make more coins than they say they do. Why? So they can buy U.S. Treasury bonds. So the U.S. Treasury can hide their debt. And now they're out of cryptos. Everybody understands what's going on, and they're out of cryptos. You see, 7 Arabian countries are asking for a bailout. Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq. They're all asking for, I can't leave out the UAE. They're all in Qatar, they call it, which is just a flat sand island. Anyway, same with Bahrain. It's just this flat sand island. The ocean's raised 2 feet that it disappears. But they're all asking for bailouts because Iran has been screaming death to America, death to America, death to America, killing and targeting NATO troops for over almost 46 years. They've been targeting NATO troops to kill them because the Arabs still have blood feuds and they're still killing each other. So they figured they'd make a blood feud with France and Germany and England. France and Germany and England, Spain and Italy said, let them kill our troops. Let them kill our troops. Finally, we have a man in the White House who's tired of our troops coming back in a box and says, stop it, Iran. And Iran says, death to America, death to America. So he bombs the snot out of their military. Of course we take some hits. But anyway, they're still not. They're still sent. Gulf of Hormuz is open now. It's closed. There's The Iranian military has gone insane, wackadoodle, crazy. So there's a rumor being spread that Trump wants to use nuclear weapons in Iran. That's being spread on YouTube. It's being spread across the net. It's an absolute lie. The Satanists are coming out against America. Why are they coming out against America? Well, let me show you how they're coming out against America. X, Brighteon, Pinterest, and TikTok are all, let's see, Brighteon's owned by Shay Adams, which is a foreign corporation. I had no idea Mike Adams' real name is Shay, and I had no idea that he was registered as a foreign corporation in Texas. Can you believe it? Shay, Brighteon banned me. X, Pinterest, and TikTok are all owned by the government on the stock market. So the CIA owns them, BlackRock, so they've banned me. Why? Because they're coming against America. They hate America. Why? Why do they hate America? Why does BlackRock hate America? Why are they destroying America? Why does the U.S. Air Force and NASA hate America? I'll tell you why. President Donald Trump is reading the entire Bible at the National Mall, and it's got them furious. The Jews are smashing statues of Jesus and burning the churches. The Iranian Muslims, they got along really well, but now they're smashing the churches, the Christian churches. They hate the name of Jesus, Yeshua. They hate the name of Yeshua. They always have hated the Bible. They always will hate the Bible. There's nothing we can do. We can neutralize them. We can stop the ships carrying weapons into Iran, which is being done. The ships carrying weapons into Yemen, Iran, and Palestine have been stopped. Greta Thunberg tried it. She's a he. She was raised as a she, but she's got a who. She's a he. Perverted transvestite. Strange, weird, odd. Greta is weird and odd, in my opinion. It's my opinion. I have an opinion. Anyway, so all of the Satanists are coming out against Trump. Everyone. All of those big media stars who've sworn loyalty to Lucifer. And you know who they are. I won't mention them by name. Are coming against Trump. All the big media who have sworn loyalty to Lucifer say, oh, praise Jesus, praise Jesus, praise Jesus. They're all coming out against Trump because Jesus means light, which means Lucifer. His name was Yeshua. What's your name, says Moses. God said, my name is Yeshua HaYeshu. Yeshua is my son, my slave, my connected being. So they all hate Yeshua because they all hate God. They have their own God. Anyway, on to the news. I see in the future, for number 103 and 104 attempts on Trump, everybody wants Trump dead. 30 April and 7 May. Could I give you details? Yeah, but does he care? Nope. Nor does the Secret Service. They weren't ready for the 16th of April. We told them the 13th of April, plus or minus 3 days. They weren't ready. They're too busy. The whores are too busy filming them having sex. I mean, there was a film that just came out. These people are just perverted freaks. Get rid of the Secret Service and put the military in to defend the president. It's very simple. We used to do that. And then we got in the Secret Service, and then presidents started dropping dead. It's insane what's happening. The military is the perfect people to protect President Trump. Anyway, and I see JD landing or taking off at an airport, and I see somebody with a man-packed missile, homemade, firing at Air Force 2. See, Trump's off to China and JD's off to Pakistan to try to say, let's stop shooting ships in the Gulf of Hormuz. Let's stop killing U.S. troops. You've been fighting with each other for 4,000 years. Stop. The Babylon became Persia, Persia the Median Empire. They've been fighting, became Assyria, became the Syrian, became this, became that. They've been fighting for 4,000 years. Egypt gets conquered, Egypt gets unconquered. Turkey gets conquered, Turkey gets unconquered. The Ottoman Empire spreads, the Ottoman Empire dies. These blood feuds have been going on since the beginning of time. We stuck our nose into it to keep the oil flow going, to keep the economy going. Well, we're getting out of the Middle East. And now Europe is crying the blues trying to kill Trump because they want U.S. troops to defend their oil supply. They got plenty of oil in Europe. They just don't drill. The people who run Europe are walking, talking demons. I know. I get letters from the Lucifer Trust. The devil. Starmer, Prime Minister of England, a walking, talking demon, a devil. Merz of Germany, a walking, talking devil. Macron of France, completely demon-possessed. The French president, I don't know if he's a walking, talking demon transferred into a human body or he's just a demon-possessed man. Italy, they're all demon-possessed. Serbia seems to be the only one with any common sense. So we've got Europe taken over by the demons. So of course they're coming against the Trump. He's reading the Bible in the National Mall, the park between the White House and the halls of Congress. The halls of Congress have been empty for 5 years. The halls of the Supreme Court have been empty for 6 years. There are no lights on. So anyway, the Satanists are unified in destroying Trump. Unbelievable. He has the audacity to read the entire Bible from Genesis, from Genesis to Revelations, the entire Bible, from the front to the back, right on the National Mall. Of course the libtards. Well, the libtards have shown themselves up to be who they really are. They worship the devil. Governor of Minnesota, Oregon, Washington, California, Maine, Virginia, they all worship the devil. They do the human sacrifice, what the Satanists do every 30 days, like above the Steelicum Ferry. That's why I can walk up to a general on Fort Lewis and watch him shake. As an ambassador, I was given 4 stars. And the commander of Fort Lewis is 3 stars. Now, granted, it's for another country, but they have to treat me with respect. Even though they're demon-possessed, they have to follow the Army regulations, or they get fired. Anyway, there is a drought that it's been going on for decades. 60% of the lower 48 is currently drought. As the spring planting season begins, the U.S. cattle herd is below 1950 levels, and shrinking mountain snowpack is the problem. There is no snow. There was no snow from Vancouver, Canada, to Helena, Montana. There is no snow. The U.S. Air Force and NASA, which runs the 55th and 60th Air Wing and Dryden Air, and the Harper Array in Alaska, and the Harper Array in Thule Air Force Base in northern Greenland, and the one in northern Norway. They run those arrays. They are not a space agency. The Artemis was filmed on Earth in the NASA studios using CGI. That's why there was kind of a line around these people. Anyway, this is a typical field in Kansas. It's completely devoid of water. And now they're putting AI centers in to suck the ground dry. Well, the Mississippi levels are decreasing, so the trade going up and down the Mississippi is decreasing because they've channelized the river, and it's sucked, and it's channelized, and all the clay's gone, and now it's recharging the groundwater. So as they suck the Midwest dry, the Mississippi is going dry to replenish everything. So the fishing industry's dead on the Mississippi River. All of the rivers are running dry as they channelized them. So what's happening is fertilizer and diesel costs are soaring. Why? We make all our own fertilizer. We make all our own diesel. So why are diesel prices going up? Because the oil companies figured it's time to rape America. They worship Lucifer. Every month they do their human sacrifice, and they worship the devil. So now they're raising the prices. America must be destroyed. The whites must be killed and displaced in order for the devil to take over the world. That's a quote from the Jesuits. We've read you what they've said many times on TV and here on YouTube. The southern United States, this is a map of extreme severe drought. And they're building the data centers in these drought areas so they can suck the groundwater dry. That's the United States, and that's the drought area. Now, why is that important to you? I highly encourage you to start building gardens, because that is what's happening to America. The price of beef has kept up with inflation. That's all. It hasn't risen. All this warning about beef prices going up, beef prices going up. Well, they're about to start to skyrocket. Why? because the herds are shrinking. Many people are getting rid of their herds. They're making their herds get smaller. And the libtard states are shutting down farms. Oh, you can only have 3 chickens. You can only have 6 chickens. You can't have a farm. You can't have a garden. Oh, I work for the devil. You can't have a garden. That's what they're saying. All across Oregon. They're shutting down individual farms. If you have 2 cows and you sell milk to your neighbors, you got to build a huge pad and a barn for 2 cows. They're shutting you down. And Trump is doing nothing. Absolutely nothing to bring back freedom and liberty in America. Nothing. Freedom and liberty means you pay no property taxes. You own the land on which you stand. Public education is a matter of what the parents teach their children, not what some affirmative action libtard freak tells your children. Unbelievable evil coming out of the United States. We've got a shrinking snowpack all across the country. Like the weatherman said, there was no snow from Vancouver, Washington, all the way over to Helena, Montana. They're going to dry Montana out and burn it down. Go NASA! Go U.S. Air Force! Go HGSAT! By the way, the Trump administration will begin to break up, and they might be successful on these next attempts on Trump, because Trump has never said thank you for warning me. That's all it'll take, a phone call. But he won't do it because he doesn't listen to God. Sure, he's reading the Bible at the National Mall, but he's surrounded by people like Betty Boop, boop, ba-doop, boop, ba-doop, boop, boop, who absolutely want nothing to do with God and put a wall around him. And him and Melania and Barron can't break out of that wall. And by the way, speaking of that, Iran made it very clear they're not going to listen to Jared Kushner as a Jew, and they're not going to listen to the other person negotiating because he's a Zionist, wants to kill all the Muslims, rule the world out of Mount Zion in Jerusalem. That's where they want the world capital to be. Trump couldn't have picked 2 worse negotiators. So he's sending J.D. Vance on Air Force 2 as he goes to China. And I'm telling you what, Iran's not getting any more Chinese weapons. Everybody in Iran knows this is a fight between China and the United States. And the Ayatollah Khomeini, the Jew, the devil worshiper, death to America, kill the Christians, push public education, kill the Christians, destroy the family. The Ayatollah is a Jew, and he died 6 months ago. That's why there are crowds in the streets celebrating the death of the Ayatollah. Excuse me. How do I know this? I talked to a guy who just immigrated from Iran. Those people in the street were celebrating the death of the Ayatollah for the last 7 months. Trump didn't kill him. Trump did not kill the Ayatollah. He's been dead for a long time. So what we're getting out of what we're getting from the war is total lies. We're not hearing about the death of Americans or the planes shot down or the ships hit, but I'll tell you that carrier that had an electrical problem, it went into Crete, it was fixed within a week, and they're back out supporting the Gulf conflict. And they plan to level that place tomorrow night, our time, which would be Thursday, their time. So J.D. Vance is flying for an emergency meeting to say, open the Strait of Hormuz, stop killing NATO troops because you hate Christians, stop killing NATO troops, and everything will be fine. And Iran said, we're going to continue to kill NATO troops, we're going to mass murder everybody, and we're not going to open the Gulf of Hormuz. Kiss our rear. Fine. The ships are lining up to buy American oil. That's fine. Anyway, maybe death to Iran. All those years of murdering, random murders. And all the libtards are saying, Trump's bad, Trump's bad. Well, pardon me, people like Tucker Carlson, kiss my rear. You never had a friend come back in a box, did you? God bless. Thank you very much. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll see you tomorrow.